We spend a lot of time staring into the shadows. We hunt for the monsters hiding in pill bottles and the demons cooking in rural trailer parks. We obsess over fentanyl, meth, and the shadowy cartels pushing them. And we should. But while we're busy locking the back door against the Wolf, we've invited the dragon into the living room, poured it a drink, and put it on the payroll. It kills more Americans annually than opioids. It destroys more families than meth, but it doesn't get a D task force. It gets a Super Bowl commercial. Welcome back to Shadow States. This is the next chapter in our Poison Nation Chronicles. Today, we aren't looking at the illegal substances found in evidence lockers. We are looking at the bottle sitting on your kitchen counter. If you tell your boss you spent the weekend shooting heroin, you're fired. If you tell him you spent the weekend drinking until you blacked out, he'll probably laugh and ask what vintage you had. Alcohol is the only drug in the world where if you don't use it, people ask you what's wrong with you. It is the social lubricant of the American machine. It's the mommy juice for the stressed suburbanite and the liquid courage for the corporate shark. But let's strip away the marketing gloss. Ethanol is a solvent. It's a Group 1 carcinogen sitting right there next to asbestos and radiation. While we scream about the opioid crisis, and rightly so, alcohol-related, deaths in the U.S. have quietly surged to over 140,000 a year. That's a fully loaded Boeing 737 crashing every single day with no survivors. But you won't see that on the evening news. Why? Because the network's biggest sponsor is selling the beer. We've exposed the rot of the pharmaceutical industry before. We watched how they repackaged heroin as medicine. If you saw our investigation into Big Pharma, the big alcohol lobby uses the exact same playbook. They know their product is lethal. They know that the top 10% of drinkers account for more than half of their sales. If everyone actually drank responsibly, the alcohol industry would collapse overnight. Their business model depends on addiction. It depends on the guy shaking at 8 a.m. waiting for the liquor store to open. They fund education programs that are designed to fail, shifting the blame onto the consumer. Drink responsibly is the corporate version of thoughts and prayers. It's a liability shield, nothing more. They aren't selling a beverage. They're selling a slow-motion suicide, taxed and regulated by Uncle Sam. It doesn't just stop your heart like fentanyl. It marinates your organs. Wet brain, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is where your brain literally turns to mush from a lack of thiamine. You lose your memories, your coordination, your mind. But you stay alive. A ghost trapped in a rotting shell. Then there's the violence. 40% of convicted murderers used alcohol before the crime. It fuels domestic abuse, assaults, and chaos in a way heroin never could. Heroin makes you nod off. Alcohol makes you pick up a weapon. It is the fuel for American rage. Drive through the rusted-out belts of this country. You'll see the scars of the meth epidemic, certainly. Just like we saw in small-town decay, where meth hollowed out rural communities, alcohol is there to finish the job. In many small towns, the factory is gone, the school is failing, but the liquor store? The liquor store is recession-proof. It is the neon church of the hopeless. In low-income urban areas, there is a higher density of liquor licenses than grocery stores. This isn't an accident, it's zoning. It's predatory capitalism targeting the vulnerable. They sell 99-cent shooters to people who can't afford bread. It's a tax on misery, collected by corporations and state governments who are addicted to the revenue just as much as the alcoholic is addicted to the bottle. We live in a poison nation. We are fighting a war on drugs while the deadliest enemy is sponsoring our sports teams and funding our elections. There is no redemption arc here. There is no happy ending where the industry develops a conscience. As long as the money flows, the booze will flow, and the bodies will pile up quietly, legally, and profitably. This is the reality they don't want you to see. This is the shadow state. If you want to understand the full scope of how this country is being medicated into oblivion, keep watching. Check out our exposure of the opioid lies on the left, or dive into the rural collapse caused by meth on the right. Stay vigilant.